Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your TWitWoW monthly Q&A number 67. We are in 2022. Good Lord, it is January of 2022. Closing in on February because February starts in like 5 days. Holy shit. And we have got a grand total of 30 questions to answer today. It's really starting to kind of wind down the volume of questions that we get, but makes these that much easier, quicker. So let's just get right on into it. Our first set of questions are from Hypothesis. His first question being, if you could each pick 4 matches for Rey Mysterio's 2K showcase, what would they be? He did add that we could share answers, so we could both have the same answers for some of them if we wanted.
That's actually a big relief, because, I mean, obviously you would want the WrestleMania 22 world title win to me. Personally, as just a feud that I think really kind of opened eyes to people, I would do, like, way back. I know I'm kind of going out of order, but I would do an early 2002 feud, that match with Kurt Angle that he had at SummerSlam 02. I would have that on there just as something a bit different. Obviously one of the matches with Eddie, because that was the biggest feud he ever had. I'm just wondering which match. Maybe the ladder match for the custody of Dominic, because that was like the storyline ender. I know they had a steel cage match after that, but that was like the crescendo of the feud. So world title win. Before that, Angle match at SummerSlam 02, because I think that opened a lot of people's eyes. The Eddie match at SummerSlam for the custody of Dominic. And
what, dude, since you've contributed 3 already, I'm going to contribute 1. His best match in his current run, in my opinion, is that first Andrade match on Smackdown where he hit the flip pile driver.
Yeah, see, I agree with you about the Andrade matches. I was trying to avoid him, though, because he's no longer with the company. I know Angle isn't either, and Eddie's dead, but they're still, like, WWE alum in a way.
Right. That's true. Yeah, you're right. What about a Ricochet match? Maybe do a little shout out to Lucha Underground when they main evented or Ultimate Lucha Season 2.
That could work. Yeah, I wish they actually did something in WWE that could really make that. Maybe just him and Dominic winning the tag titles. I hate it because it's such a weak fucking entry. But then, like, you can almost end it on, and now I've brought the next generation with me. They give Dominic the rub that they would clearly want. So I'm also thinking from a company perspective. So yeah, that'd probably be my 4th to round it out. It's kind of a weak showcase, admittedly. I'm not gonna, make it seem anything other than that. But yeah, I'd probably just do the Dominic tag title win.
I forget, who did he beat for that world title at WrestleMania 22?
Orton and Angle in a triple threat.
Okay. And that was after winning the Rumble, right?
Yes. Actually, yeah, Rumble win would also be good. That actually does strengthen it a bit if we did the Rumble win and we just got rid of the tag title win with Dominic altogether.
Okay. So just to go over what you've picked. It's the Rumble win, the WrestleMania 22 world title win, the Eddie ladder match for Dominic's custody, and then a match with Dominic, or are we talking about something else now?
Well, no, because the other thing I contributed that I liked, I did like the feud with Angle in 02, if we're just talking about Ray's early beginnings making an impact on SmackDown, right. And he had a great opener with Angle at SummerSlam 02.
Okay.
I feel like would be a good part of that showcase.
Yeah.
Or as an alternative, I'll tell you what, we could also do, since he'll probably be a playable character, I would guess, where he retired JBL. You could either do the WrestleMania one where he won the Intercontinental title, or the one on SmackDown where he retained the world title against him, because he made JBL quit twice. So take your pick. Nice. That'd also be a good substitute. So
yeah, I'm gonna do the same selection of 3: the Royal Rumble win, the world title win, and then the Eddie ladder match. But I'm gonna, for my 4th one, I'm gonna have it be another Eddie match, the big Halloween Havoc match where Ray was in the all purple suit.
Great choice. Because now that they own the WCW library, WCW isn't off limits. That's great.
So really, thank Brandon Best for that pick, because he mentioned it in chat.
Yeah, well, great job, Brandon, because, apparently my scope was a bit too limited. But, yeah, I actually love that. That's a great pick.
All right. Moving on, our next question from Hypothesis. If you could retire a total of 10 championships currently in WWE, which would you choose?
10 championships currently in WWE. Oh, God. See, the way I answer this, it kind of involves just me... also a greater vision for the company if I was able to impose it, because I hate doing this with the company as it is now. But I would just axe one of each kind of division. So I'd get rid of, say, the SmackDown Women's Championship, and then I'd get rid of the United States Championship. Because I just like the idea of, one champion for each, I don't know, card layer, mid-card, main event, all that stuff. So
Sure.
obviously get rid of one of the tag titles, but then 10. 10 is a lot. Do we even have 10 championships that we can axe currently? I think
Okay.
WWE doesn't even have
Let's see here.
that
Let me
many
see what I can do.
Yeah.
I'm going to say North American title,
Okay.
U.S. title,
Okay.
WWE title. I guess we're keeping Universal.
Okay, interesting.
We'll get rid of one of the two women's championships on the main roster. It doesn't matter which one because they don't really have different value. They're the same thing. So for the sake of argument, we'll just say SmackDown women's title, right? Both women's tag titles, main roster and NXT.
I was just thinking that. I'm glad you said it because I was just thinking that while you were going through yours. Yeah.
One of the two tag titles on the main roster because we only need one tag titles because this tag division is too damn small, and that's 7. So we still need to cut 3 more. I don't think it's reasonable to cut 3 more, honestly. Unless,
I don't think it's 3
you know
more,
what?
Yeah.
Let me check something real quick. Give me just a moment.
Plus, was right. If we axe 24/7 championship, that would go up to 8.
I thought that was the first one I mentioned.
Did you mention it? I don't remember.
Okay, maybe I didn't. We'll say 8 then. Okay. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit creative here, all right?
Okay.
I am going to reinstate the Smackdown Women's Championship so we still have 2 women's championships. But here's what I'm going to do. No, that's bad. That's stupid. Never mind. Shit.
Kind of curious where we're going to go with it, though.
Well, I was going to say we could get rid of the NXT and NXT UK Women's Championships and then just have all of the women who are main roster ready on Raw and SmackDown so that we actually have enough women for a full division on both shows. And then anyone that's not ready can just stay in the Performance Center until they are and just skip NXT entirely.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't think that's a very good idea in hindsight after having thought about it. Let's see. Part of me wants to just axe NXT UK altogether, get rid of all 4 of those championships.
I was literally thinking the same thing when you were going through like your plan that you rejected. I'm just thinking like, actually, I wouldn't mind just getting rid of the brand altogether. And that would
just axe NXT UK entirely, and that cuts 4 titles right there because there's the NXT UK Championship, the NXT UK Heritage Cup, the NXT UK Tag Titles, and the NXT UK Women's Championship. You get rid of all 4 of those, and then you only have to cut 6 more. So the 24/7 title is the biggest slam dunk out of those 4. So that leaves us with 5 to cut. I would say cut one of the tag titles, one of the women's titles. So then we're up to 7. One of the mid-card. I really don't want to cut one of the mid-card titles, but we can, I guess. Actually, no. We'll keep both of the mid-card titles and get rid of one of the world titles so that there's one massive world champion that goes across both brands. See, now I hate that too. I don't like that either because then it feels like it's just going to be Brock or Roman all the fucking time.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, the difficulty with a question like this is for me to really answer it enthusiastically, it would have to accompany me changing the company structure as a whole, not just the props that it uses. Within the current WWE scheme, any cuts in one way or another to me would be disastrous. So,
can we count the Cruiserweight Championship even though that already technically got cut because it wasn't cut when he asked this question?
I personally would. I like a good loophole.
Yeah. So that's 8. And then, I don't know, the last 2, I don't want to cut anymore, honestly.
Yeah, I was with you earlier when you were like, it just doesn't seem sensible. I think when we're up to 7 to cut anymore. So I'm good just submitting the question here because I think 10, that's just way too much.
I agree. All right, 3rd question from Hypothesis. If Sami Zayn was indeed leaving WWE, how would you feel about Big Larry becoming the first Black AEW World Champion?
No. I love Sami, but no. I think Sami would even say no to that. The cultural club, because when was Big Larry? Was that like 2008 or something? It feels like it's really old. Just just by everything that's happened. I think the climate, I don't even really necessarily think it was okay back then, but Sami makes it like funny and endearing at least. But I think now like the climate, even somebody as well-intentioned as Sami would get shit all over, and he doesn't need that PR with Sami for Syria and stuff like that. I don't want to see it. personally. I'd rather see him do other stuff. I want to see him be a babyface again, actually. I've been waiting for him to kind of complete, the arc, so to speak. So no, I don't think it would be wise or sound, personally.
Yeah, you know what? I'm curious. Let me see if Cage Match has him listed as Big Larry for any matches. Because then we can get an idea of when he did that.
Yeah.
Nope, they don't. All right, well, I do know that there was a point in PWG where he was a tag team with Human Tornado, and the name of the tag team was Two Skinny Black Guys. And then at one point he was a tag team with Willie Mack, and the tag team name was Two Husky Black Guys. So like it's been a gimmick for Sami Zayn in the past to basically act like one of those like guys that's delusional that doesn't realize he's not black.
Right, exactly.
But I honestly think that was probably more take on like the Malibu's Most Wanted type of person rather than him genuinely just trying to like, no, I'm black. What do you mean? Like that kind of thing. I think it's like a
Yeah.
satire.
Yeah, I definitely think Sammy's like well-intentioned. There's nothing malicious in it, but even things with no malice, when you're kind of treading that water, I just think, again, the cultural climate, I wouldn't.
All right.
So was that his last question?
Yes. Next up, we've got 3 from Brandon Best. First up, it's still too early, but do you think Shuri's World of Stardom title reign will be as memorable as Utami's?
I think so. Honestly, I'm looking forward to her versus Mirai. I think Shuri has a credibility about her. I think the only it's kind of a weird thing. It's downright paradoxical, actually, because you obviously want your world champions to be strong. I do wonder, though, at times if Shuri is too strong, because I mean, again, we even did a recap on our last reaction that Shuri, it wasn't that long ago that she lost a match because Azumi beat her in the 5-star. But Shuri just has this aura about her where there are very few competitors that I could reasonably believe beating her unless they were like overt heels and they cheated a shit ton or just are straight up out wrestled her and, were able to outstrike her or whatever. I think the pool is very narrow. So I don't know how many memorable matches you get that way because I think, there are only so many times you could be suckered in like, oh, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? And then they don't do it. Now, granted, even in that tag match we live read to most recently, I got worked hard. I thought Mirai was going to pin her, and I was like going fucking nuts. But I don't know. I think she'll have a good reign, but I almost wonder if Shuri's her own worst enemy, being as strong as she is right now. Because I think just a little bit of vulnerability that if anybody could exploit, they could be the next champion. Like I think you gotta walk that line between being strong and bringing credibility to the belt, but being just vulnerable enough that anybody can take it from you.
I think that's what made
I don't know.
Utami special too.
Yeah, because Utami, for as OP as she could be, you could tell that she, knew she was vulnerable because she wrestles the Iroha matchup so differently from her prior defenses. And I don't see Shuri being in that kind of panic mode without actually saying she's in panic mode by radically adapting her style in a given title match. So, I think it's going to be a strong title reign. This is not a diss at Utami, or excuse me, at Shuri at all. But I think Utami's ultimately going to go down as edging it out just a little bit. Just because I think Shuri's going to be Shuri all the way through, whereas you actually saw Utami develop a little bit as a champion.
Yeah. I feel like that Iroha match was really the match that made me go, damn, that's my champ,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
All right. Let's move on then. Our second question from Brandon. In in trying to be as objective as possible, what is the perfect / quintessential Stardom match to show a non-Joshi watcher? I know my answer to this.
Perfect quintessential Stardom match to show a non-Stardom watcher. I mean, there's a lot to unpack here for me. Because one, yeah, you could go.
Julia Tam hair versus hair for the IC title, for the World Wonder title.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick.
Because to me, that match has everything great about Stardom in it. You have passion, you have fire, you have these crazy strikes, you have Julia being a badass, you have Tam being this amazing fiery baby face and giving anything to get that title. You have the crazy ass spots, like specifically with the first time we saw the Violet Screwdriver. You have Tam's amazing Twilight Dream finish in there. you get to see pretty much everything Julia does except for the what's the fucking bomb that she does? I forget what it's called.
Oh, the Northern Lights bomb.
Yes,
I don't
thank
know.
you.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Northern Lights bomb. And like and then like the post match where Julia just it's not in WWE where someone loses a versus her match and then try to get out of it. Julia sits there respectfully and accepts her fate having lost the match. And it's like this is everything to me that if you're going to enjoy Stardom is going to make you enjoy Stardom. So if you can't enjoy that match, I don't think it's for you.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I'm trying to think of something like current because I don't want to use any like retired performers, and honestly, I don't want to lean
Yeah.
on Utami or Shuri either
No, dude,
because
I had the same
yeah,
thought though, because like I really thought like if you really want to see the absolute best of Stardom, you can't just not include Kagetsu and Hana in that match.
right,
But we're trying to get people into it, so you also can't include them in that match because they're not around anymore.
exactly. So for me, I think I'll go with another Tam matchup. God, it really does show that
Tam
Tam is like
Kamitani?
the best wrestler in the world. I was gonna say Tam Mayu that went to a draw because you talk about that
Oh,
passion, that
dude,
physicality.
that's perfect in its own right too. I love that. Yeah,
Yeah, so I would do that. I forget the show that happened on. Was it Dream? No, it wasn't
dude,
Dream
I think that was the
Theater.
same show that we got Iroha Utami on.
I think you're right. Yeah, in fact, you're exactly right. Yeah. So I would show them, yeah, the Tam Mayu match that went to a draw
I think it was
because you also need to get used to
Osaka.
the.
Was that Osaka Dream Cinderella? Maybe.
I believe it was. It was Osaka Dream Cinderella. I would choose that match. I think for all the reasons Ashton noted about the Tam Julia match, I think you see again here. Also, though, I
Yep,
do
it
like that it's
was.
a TLD because you need to get used as a Stardom fan that they will employ TLDs quite liberally, but
Yeah,
they'll always do it effectively.
exactly.
So I
That's
think that
why I
kind of
was like,
initial,
that's
yeah,
perfect for its own reasons. Dude, that show was fucking incredible. Like,
it really was.
that same show, we got Shuri Kashima. That was supposed to be Shuri Konami. Can you imagine if Konami was healthy for that? But then we
Yeah,
also got fucking Team Marvelous, Maria and Rin versus Mai and Mina. And we got Kid versus Death. And fucking Hazuki's return match was on that show against Koguma. That show was ridiculous.
and it made all the better that we actually reacted to it in real time late at night. Like, definitely
Yes.
one of my fondest memories on this podcast,
Yeah,
doing that
absolutely.
fucking show.
That was amazing.
All right, next question.
All right, next question is John. This is just for you. If you had to share
I
a
know which one.
brain with any philosopher, who would you want to share the brain the most with?
You know what, Brandon? Because I am just such a good dude, I am going to give you several answers to this. Um, One of my personal favorites, Gilles Deleuze, French philosopher. Absolutely fucking fantastic. I'm reading his stuff currently, or more pointedly, I'm reading commentaries on his stuff, and I'm trying to get into some primary stuff. I love the way he thinks. I love the way he sees the world. Kind of be inside his head would be a fucking trip. Plus, I love his story. It just fucking wild. So that's one. Walter Benjamin's another one, a German Jewish philosopher. Unfortunately, had a tragic end because Nazis are fucking scumbags. But that's a separate thing. I'm not really much of an artistic or cultural guy, like just in the sense that you'll never catch me like in a museum admiring paintings. I don't even really read classical literature that much. Like I've never read, say, Homer's Odyssey or Shakespeare or anything like that. But Benjamin was very cultured, so it'd be cool to share a brain with him, kind of get that cultural refinement. Uh, Epicurus was one of my favorite ancient philosophers because he was him and Democritus were the earliest theorists of the atom. Now, obviously, their idea of the atom was radically different from what we know it to be today. But I still love Epicurus's atomic model, and I love the story of his death because Democritus, because he was so obsessed with obtaining truth, he thought sense perception was deceptive. So he actually stabbed his own eyes out. Meanwhile, Epicurus, when he knew he was going to die, he apparently ran a bath, poured himself a glass of wine, told his friends to study philosophy, and he was like, all right, I'm out. Like a fucking boss. So I love him. Zhuangzi is an ancient Chinese philosopher. Love him for the very same reasons. I think he was way ahead of his time. In fact, I think in some ways we're still catching up to him, at least as far as it comes to the notion of disability and bodily difference, because he says virtue takes no form. And he was a very harsh critic of instrumentalist reasoning. Like, he has this parable of like this knotted tree that's lived to be like, I think like 102 years old. And this carpenter is really angry because the wood isn't any good for anything. He can't make a house out of it. He can't make a boat out of it. But Zhuangzi praises the inherent uselessness of the tree because it's useless by the standards of that given society. It's been able to live out its years. So I think in Zhuangzi, there's a very pertinent critique of instrumentalist logic and really capitalist society informed by that logic. And I just love it. And then I think the last person I would mention would be Emmanuel Levinas, a Jewish thinker that was a prisoner of war during the Nazi occupation of France. His ethics actually inspired me to do Crisis Text Line. I don't know if I've shared with you guys that I do a Crisis Line from time to time. I think I've clocked in like 240 hours on there. I think his ethics is very demanding, but I mean that as a compliment. And I just love the way he sees the world as well. So yeah, I think those guys definitely be people that I would share a brain with, and it'd be a fucking raucous time. So I think that sufficiently answers your question. We can move on to our next set of questions.
Thank you, good sir. Let's move on to our next set of questions, which are from Super Blue.
Oh, goody. Oh, I can't wait for these. What's the first one?
Do you have a guess as far like what the most Super Blue possible question could be?
Wait for it. I know the answer to this. Why is Yoshihashi the best?
Bro, unironically, you got way closer than you had any right to.
Oh my god, what did he ask?
Why didn't you give Yoshihashi a year-end award or an honorable mention?
Because he fucking sucks. Let it go, man. Let it go. Oh, fuck. Do you have anything you want to add to this? You're the sensible one.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly why. Because Yoshihashi sucks so fucking much that we literally don't even think to include him in our worst awards. Because for us to include him in our worst awards would imply that we have expectations for him, and we don't.
Honestly, Super Blue, and this has less to do with you and more to do with me being an emotionally maladjusted person, I want to give an award to Yoshihashi while you're in our year-end awards, only to be like, haha, psych, and rip it away from him just to hurt you all over again for asking this question. Now, again, that really has nothing to do with you and everything to do with me, but you should have respected what you were up against. Next question.
Second question. 1 year later, how do you feel about the attack on the Capitol on January 6th, 2021?
Oh, God, these political questions. I'm going to get us fucking arrested one of these days. Fucking hot, Mike. Here's the thing. Fuck the police. Yeah, okay. First of all, yes, absolutely. Fuck the police. The only good cop is one that quits. But not all cops are bad. Yes, literally. Literally, they're a part of a structure that's inherently violent, serves bourgeois and white supremacist interests, and really should just be wiped off the face of the planet. That notwithstanding, you know, okay. So let's have a talk with your old pal John about why everything sucks and it's probably not going to get any better. So the problem with this whole thing, right? Obviously, I'm fervently against the alt-right and Trumpists and all that. The ideological chasm could swallow all of us whole. It's a fucking sinkhole, right? But for one thing, I even saw some leftists, and I do disagree with them, but I'm sympathetic to them, and I'll get to that in a second, would be like, you know, if we were smart, we would have teamed up with them. We would have coordinated more of this, and we would have made something happen. Now, obviously, I disagree. I'm historically against red-brown shirt alliances, as it's known in leftist circles, reds being communists, browns being fascists, because the fascists will always kill you at the first opportunity. Hell, they'll cannibalize their own at the first opportunity. So you don't mean fuck all to them. Yeah. I don't think any alliance is fruitful, right? So I've always, I want to make that crystal fucking clear before I say the rest of this. Why I say I'm sympathetic is because none of this, at least by the people in power, I want to, again, be very careful with my words here. None of this by the people in power ever talk about this shit with the substantiveness that it needs, right? It's always the veneer of, you know, the lack of civility brought us here. Oh my God, bro. Civility was reintroduced into the discourse today. Quick aside, because of Biden's hot mic moment recently, where he called a Fox News reporter like a stupid son of a bitch. And the fucking View. I saw a clip of somebody being like, you know, we elected Biden because we wanted civility back in the way. And I swear to you, dude, like, oh God. And that's where it's talked about, right? Like, oh, it's uncivil. Unwashed matches, like what did Hillary call them? Like basket of deplorables.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, the deplorables. Fuck.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so in trying to sympathize, because part of the work that I'm currently doing, because I am hoping to do some stuff this year, because I know I've had a lot of fire and brimstone rhetoric of like revolution and this and that. But here's the thing. As I enter my 30s and as I want to do respect to any intellectual labor, we have to be nuanced and we have to be fair. So rather than being childish, we have to understand, what do we mean by revolution? Because if we're just talking about somebody going in, you know, gun toting, whatever, that's not a revolution. That's a lone act of violence. That's unorganized, doesn't change anything materially. It doesn't engage the structures in a meaningful way that oppress us. The structures of white supremacy, the structures of capital, et cetera, et cetera. And liberals, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Now, this is where I get into a bit of controversial territory, at least in my mind. There is a part of me that hates liberals more than conservatives. And because, like, conservatives will always tell you where they stand, for better or worse, right? I never have to worry about a conservative. But the white moderate that MLK talks about, that he hates, that always like sides of the, that's the fucking liberal. Because I've really come to conclude, especially in this timeline, that the liberal consciousness amounts to do whatever you want, just do it with civility. Like, there was a liberal, I think like a prominent, I don't know if she was like a pundit or what, when Biden did a drone strike that I think killed innocent kids. And she literally tweeted out, I was gobsmacked because I didn't even expect this, that military action is so different under Biden that it's just quiet, no fucking tweets or whatever. And I'm like, he killed kids. And you're happy because he didn't have aggressive tweet. What the fuck? So, like, it's the disingenuousness. And it's disingenuous when they talk about this because it's like,
dude,
oh,
here's the disconnect
on our democracy.
The disconnect is a liberal is somebody who just doesn't want to think about politics most of the time.
Exactly. And you know, it doesn't help matters that historically, when we look at people like Francis Fukuyama, who wrote The End of History and said that, oh, you know, America winning the Cold War, you know, shows that capitalism and liberal democracy is the best political regime, is the best political organization. And it's like, no, and that's part of why I think that genuinely informs the liberal consciousness, right? It's like, this is as perfect as it's going to get, so there's no need to think about it, because you only think about politics, right, if you think you can go beyond the current political organization of like institutions, arrangements, et cetera, et cetera. They don't do that because they're like, oh, we just need the West Wing. And so,
you really got me there with that. I did not think we would be having a West Wing reference today.
And you know, but it's true though, because like they watch the show and they're like, that's what government should be. And dude, do you want me to complete the meme? You want me to do something amazing and complete the fucking meme right now? Somebody actually uploaded a YouTube video. I am not fucking kidding with you people, because I would not put myself over this way. I saw it. Okay. They did a YouTube video where they put the Biden administration with like the intro graphics and the theme music of the West Wing to make it fucking literal. That happened. And so when it's like, oh, it's an assault on our democracy and everything else. No, the people assaulting our democracy are fucking Musk, Bezos, fucking Gates, you know, the corporations. Cops are an assault on our democracy. The political class is an assault on our democracy. For Christ's sake, I heard today that Nancy Pelosi is like running for re-election. And I'm just like, oh, but no, this fucking ragtag group of fucking people who, you know, again, yes, they're racist. Yes, they're definitely like fascist light at best. But at the same time, like, I'm sorry, again, this is another controversial comment from me. You can't fully blame them when we've been economically destitute. Where I blame them is where they locate their anger, because they'll say immigrants and this and that. I even have it where I live, where it's like, oh, we need to fortify our borders. No, you are so bad. I want to get a water bottle and I want to start spraying conservatives in their fucking face. I do. I really don't. Bad. No.
Not
it's fucking yes. It's the fucking stagnating wages. It's corporations be like, sorry, there's a labor shortage, when they don't want to own up to the fact that they treat workers like shit. It's the people that tell you, Frank, you know, really glad you gave up your 5th Christmas in a row to work for us. Unfortunately, we got to let you go. And that pension we promised, yeah, you're not getting it. It's those fucking people. I have a fucking problem with like a black person struggling in a city that's been under-resourced because, you know, fucking redlining and shit and fucking white supremacist policies there, or a fucking immigrant. And we don't even talk about, and I know this is an aside, but I need to say this because I've heard immigration a lot from people that take me to medical appointments, and like, God, that's such mask off shit. But, you know, they don't talk about how, well, why are you immigrating? Is it because the U.S. did fucking economic sanctions, making it hard for you to live here, and or even worse, if you can argue it, because economic sanctions are still violence, blatant fucking drone strikes. I'll never forget. I read one report where a Syria up at the sky now because I don't know if I'm going to die.
John, I hate to tell you this, but
let's
you
blame
did cut
them
out
though
there.
for being an
Can you hear
immigrant
me?
wanting to come here.
He can't hear me anymore, Kenny.
That's why the discourse is so bad, and that's why January 6th
John,
could have been, under the right
I'm just gonna
political
let him
conditions,
go, guys.
a very important watershed
He'll
discourse
realize he
about,
can't
hey,
hear me eventually.
maybe things are kind of fucked. Maybe we need radical ideas. And we still go back to the platitudes of it was an assault on our democracy. So how do I feel about it? Honestly, I feel the same way as I always do when this shit happens. I feel the same way when it was like, did Russia tamper with our election? Oh, hold on, guys. I apparently can't hear Ashton. I'm going to call him back.
There we go. Good shit. And there's the call. Hello.
Apologies. I'm going to give you the floor to say whatever it was you were saying.
No. All I was going to say was that you cut out at one point, but I'm guessing the cutout was what caused, like, something happened that caused both you to cut out and also for you to stop being able to hear me.
Oh, okay. So apologies. But yeah, just to round out my frustrations, because I even had a liberal friend who, I want to respect them, so I'm not going to mention their name, be all concerned like, John, how do you feel about Russia interfering with our election? Which I think that was proven false later. But even if it was true, right? I didn't care. I straight up even told him, I'm like, I don't care. Because we do it all the time. Like, Latin America says hi. Literally all of Latin America says hi. So like, if you want to come to me, oh no, our democracy is threatened by foreign powers, and literally you can do the Ballad of Buster Scruggs with like, you could like put Venezuela. You could, first time, huh? You can superimpose Venezuela over that guy's face, or Cuba. Be like, first time, huh?
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. Fuck you. So that's how I feel about it. It's nothing. It's aesthetics. It's pure aesthetics with no substance, because it's meant to reify these fucking basic ass trotted out platitudes of, oh, in the moment of darkness, we came together and the light of democracy penetrated. Get the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ. Abel, John's been too much fact for Facebook. I yield my time. Let this more sensible and equally handsome human being fucking give an answer. So what do you think in the year anniversary, I guess, or whatever?
To be fair, nothing you said was off point. Everything you said was right. I think it's just sad that we've got a bunch of fucking, regular ass working class people all ganging up because the wrong fascist got elected.
Yeah.
It's like they're fighting they're fighting to prevent the quote unquote steal of an election because the guy who is right wing, who isn't going to actually really make that much of a positive difference in anyone's lives, who maybe wants to raise taxes on people way richer than these people, if we're lucky, is getting to go into the office instead of the full-blown fascist, like, probably would become a dictator if he got a second term type. But like, you people, it's a matter of brainwashing, right? Or I guess we call them in the communist community false consciousness, right?
Yeah.
It's literally just like they're fighting tooth and nail to keep this guy elected, who would literally spit on them if they tried to talk to him in person.
Yeah, exactly.
And like the thing is, we have literal proof that most, if not all of them, genuinely believed that if they did this, that Trump would bail them out of jail or prevent them from having legal ramifications, etc. Obviously not true to those of us who are outside of their bubbles. But in that bubble, they genuinely believed that shit. They genuinely believed that they were doing this for a good reason, and that any negative ramifications would be covered by Trump because they were doing it for him and they thought that he was communicating with them.
Yeah. And like, I just hate the lack of self-awareness from these structures of power. Like another example, and again, I'm kind of teetering a bit into controversial territory here. When you think about the attack on journalism, we're not going to act like the U.S. is doing an attack on journalism right now, trying to get Julian Assange in their hands. when he got fucking the WikiLeaks documents from Chelsea Manning after she was fucking tortured and forcibly confined for being a whistleblower. Like, hey, our soldiers are doing some pretty heinous fucking shit. Somebody should talk about this because, you know, we have fucking, you know, rules of war and stuff like that, Geneva Convention and stuff like that, and articles of war that are clearly being violated. But then you want to like protect fucking CNN and MSNBC and all these other corporate media outlets that all the way back on 9/11 propagated the same lie of like weapons of mass destruction and manufactured consent, because that's the purpose of media, is to manufacture consent for whatever the U.S. wants to do. They were doing it in Cuba, you know, or I think like mid last year when those protests were happening, if you remember. And it's like, oh, should Cuba have regime change? Like, are you fucking serious? We're falling apart in fucking real time. And now we're doing the same thing in Russia and Ukraine. Like, oh, we'll send 8,500 troops, I heard last time, if things get out of hand with Russia and Ukraine. Meanwhile, Russia says, like, oh, we're not going to do anything. And here's the thing. Even if Russia's lying, and I was talking about this with my brother-in-law today, even if Russia is lying and they, like, occupy Ukraine, and that's a very, you know, serious geopolitical issue. I've wanted to research more of it. I make no claim to knowing anything about that. But what I will say is I will always staunchly be against American interventionism, because history has taught me that never fucking goes well for us or the country intervene. Like, get short. You know what? I say get your head out of your ass, but that would imply that they're doing what they don't want to do. They clearly know what they're doing. It's fucking so frustrating. Okay. So anything else you want to add, or can we move on to the next question?
I think we can move on.
Excellent. Excellent.
I just drank some water there. All right. Next up. How do you feel? Oh, this one is actually, let me just double check here to make sure that I got this right. Super Blue. Yes, this one is just for me.
Okay.
He wants to know how I feel about the NFL playoffs and who will win the Super Bowl. And I'm going to be keeping it real simple here. Anyone but the 49ers. I wouldn't mind it if the Rams won. I wouldn't mind it if the Chiefs or Bengals won. Just anyone but San Francisco. And that is nothing against Kyle Shanahan. I actually like Kyle Shanahan. It is everything to do with their entire philosophy, which is a philosophy that we need to start stomping out of the NFL, because it should not be a philosophy that works. But somehow it still occasionally does, at least well enough in this case, to get to the fucking NFC Championship game. And I hate that. So, yeah, give me one of the three passing teams over the running team, please.
Foster apparently seems to be in hard agreement with you. How does it feel to be unified with such an exceptional face?
I love it. That's wonderful.
Yeah. It's like, wow.
Fourth question from Super Blue. How do you feel about the increase in your views on your Stardom videos after cutting off the WWE main roster? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. We have never had more live streams with 0 to 1 viewer than we do now.
I mean, if that's an increase because there's more of my face than there is originally, I mean, part of me is for it, because like every second's a hot mic. But no, I do hope that we get more people involved when they've kind of just accepted that, wow, you guys really are like 90% of Stardom channel now, huh? Because WWE can just fuck off.
Yeah.
But you know, it's I actually am really happy when we get unexpected people, you know, coming in. Like I know Dom was able to join us. I think for our latest recording for a little bit. I like that. I noticed we actually do the best when we're actually able to do big Stardom shows as they happen. So I definitely want to do a lot more of that this year, you know, when it's possible.
Yep.
Because, yeah, like, I like sharing Stardom with you guys. I think it's the best promotion going. And I'm just going to cut myself off there because I know it'll get redundant after that. But, yeah, hopefully we see more of an uptick. That would be nice.
Yeah. Our star, I think, you know, it's weird. I almost have to wonder if the timing of this is just weird, because he asked this question on January 7th, which was right after our live reactions to the January 3rd show, which we did live. And that actually had like a pretty decent turnout. We had like, I want to say like over 100, or no, not quite 100, but 83. 83 views on that video. But since then, 48, 34, 68, 43, 23, 32, 19. Stardom show reactions, views. So, yeah, maybe don't jump the gun there, Super Blue. Good Lord. Maybe, and hell, maybe if you want to support Stardom, maybe show up for some of these, because I never see you in these.
Yeah, called out. Damn. Yeah. Hey, we welcome all you guys. Come on down. We fucking love it.
Fifth and final question from Super Blue. Why didn't Tiffany Stratton's dad warn her about messing with Io?
Because Tiffany Stratton's dad is too busy being a capitalist whore and fucking ruining the planet. I don't know. I'm assuming he does that, right? That's a pretty safe assumption. So yeah, he's not gonna like. Look,
I don't think Tiffany Stratton's dad watches the product.
so Tiffany Stratton might actually be just a stand-in for like Tiffany Trump, right? And WWE kind of winking at that because they always joke that Tiffany like Trump is like the forgotten child, and the
I
one
don't
that's
know,
always
maybe.
ignored.
You might be right.
Maybe
That would actually be... Dude, that's canon from now on. Tiffany Stratton is Tiffany Trump. Her dad is Donald Trump, and that's why they only ever refer to him as her daddy, and they never actually call him by his real name, because they don't want to dox who Donald Trump's letting, or, you know, the whole situation.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Oh, that's so funny. All right, next question. We only had one question from Mark this month, but I think it's a good one. Hey, I'm going to just read the whole thing because it is a longer one, and I put a very shortened version in the actual document. He said, if Bayley returns in the Rumble but does not win, given that Lita has come out and said that she has another run in her, do you think we could see Bayley versus Lita at WrestleMania? And then he has in parentheses, Lita was Bayley's favorite growing up, I believe.
Absolutely, and I think Bayley would prefer that over a championship match, and I think it's really simple. Just have Lita eliminate Bayley from the Rumble, and you have your story right there, right in the Rumble match.
I mean, I would
or
hate
the other
that.
way around.
I would hate that, but I do agree that they could do it.
Yeah, or the other way around. You could have Bayley eliminate Lita and then get the story the other way. But I think it's more personal, though, when the person that's coming back and has that championship ambition and is still a heel, as I believe Bayley will be, you know, to have her eliminated by the babyface, not the other way around. So I think it's very easy to set up. So, yeah.
All right. That's a good question. I like that one. Next up, Rotten Butter. First question, go.
All right. Well, the family and I, we watched a real world reunion, I think from the very, like it was the cast from the very first season or possibly the second season, but it was a really early season. They came back 20 years later. That was an interesting experience, a bit unnerving at times. Also watched The Challenge, All Stars that they do on Paramount Plus. What else have we been doing? Oh, we did Tiger King season 2, and we did the Doc Antle spinoff. That is fucking crazy, y'all. Like, I know a lot of people have joked about it and talked about it, but for real, like, I need to talk to y'all for a second. It's fucking tigers, right? It's pretty much like an exhibit, whatever, and we're talking about like drug money, pedophile rings. You know, Carol Baskin may or may not have killed her husband. Who again, that kind of goes back to the pedophile thing. Apparently, he went to I think like the Philippines to get underage girl. Like, dude, dude, fucking simmer down. I say that to Ashton a lot, unironically or ironically, and I said it to you guys ironically a lot, but no, unironically in this case. Simmer the fuck down. All right, you got way too much going on there. I just wanted to know what it was like. You know, we're on the tiger exhibit. What the fuck ever. So we did that. Music. I haven't really been listening to a lot of new stuff per se. It's more new to me. Been listening to more 12 Stones. That's interesting. Alter Bridge is fucking god tier.
Wait. Did you say 12 Stones?
I did. That's right.
Aren't those the guys that did We Walk Alone Through the Unknown?
I
knew it.
Yes, the very same. Yes. I am part of the trend for Wordle. I've been playing that a lot. I look forward to my puzzles every day, you know, kind of solving that. So that's been something. Been doing a lot of reading. Guys, I've been doing a lot of philosophy reading. It's not even necessarily for me. I'm helping a dear friend of mine with her PhD. Draven, thank you. I try and have one-liners on this show that you guys can enjoy. It really does boggle my mind, man. It really fucking does. So, yeah, I've been doing that. Been playing a bit of Boggle online. Oh, there's this dice game I learned about called Farkle. That's fun.
Ooh, I want to say it. Farkle.
You and your F's. That just sounded so weird. Oh, God, I know you and I, we do stuff. We recently rewatched Dirk Gently.
Yeah.
Actually just got done that a little bit ago.
It's a great show.
We watched, oh, God. Oh, my God. I can't believe I'm having a brain fart about this. Fucking that Keanu Reeves movie with the dog.
Oh, John Wick.
John Wick. There it is. Abel said you just hit him with that Nexus nostalgia. So we did the first John Wick. We were kind of mad about it. We did. I don't know if we talked about Encanto in the last Q&A, because again, COVID times kind of fucked me up. But I know we did that somewhat recently. No, Abel, it wasn't The Matrix. No, I'm just kidding. I would never genuinely yell at you. I love you so much. Please stay. It's fine. What else? I know we're looking forward to South Park February 2nd, but obviously that's still coming. Their COVID specials were great. Obviously, I've done Rocket League, Brawlhalla. Those are the big games we play. God, sometimes pain in the ass, sometimes actually quite rewarding. I know I've been watching a stream of It Takes Two with Valkyrie and Saikuno. That's been fun.
Dude, I feel like
God,
we've had an amazing streak of movies this month. What have we watched?
Yeah, okay, so we did Encanto. We did the dinosaur movie recently. I already forget the name of it. The Boy and His Dinosaur, was it?
The Good Dinosaur.
My Pet Dinosaur? The Good Dinosaur. The Good Dinosaur.
Pixar movie.
So yeah, we did that. Like I said, we did Encanto. We did
Eternals.
Oh, what was that?
Eternals.
Yeah, that was interesting. Was Don't Look Up? That was last month, right? I want to say that was last month.
I think that was this month actually for us. I think that was part of our movie streak.
I'll say right now, I don't get the hate for that film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I honestly thought the last 10 minutes even kind of tugged at my heartstrings a little bit. I thought they walked the line perfectly between sincerity and satire. So I don't get what all the hate was about. Well, we've been watching Peacemaker. We got a new episode to do tonight.
Hell yeah,
I don't know if we'll be able to, but
why wouldn't we be able to?
Well, because I know what you've had going on lately with your mom and stuff. I don't know if she was feeling good.
Oh, no, she's had a good day today.
Oh, good. Then we will be able to do it. So yeah, Peacemaker's been wonderful.
Oh,
fucking yeah, John Cena kills it.
Such a breath of fresh air.
And yeah, I think that's it. And you know what, Ashton, given that I already told you, I think I'm actually gonna take this opportunity now because I know how these rotten butter questions work. That'll give me ample time. So you answer this. I'm gonna take care of what I have to take care of.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, that works out really well then. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I do know that we finished like all of the Marvel stuff, and when I say we, I mean my mom and I actually. So we finished. What we did was we watched the first 2 seasons of Daredevil, then we watched Defenders, then we watched season 3 of Daredevil, then we watched both seasons of Punisher, then we watched season 2 of Iron Fist. God, I wish Iron Fist got a season 3. If there was even half as much of a jump in quality from season 2 to season 3 of Iron Fist season 3 would be one of the best Netflix Marvel shows of all time, or just Marvel in general shows of all time. Because Netflix or Iron Fist season 2 compared to season 1 was fucking incredible. Season 1 was just not something I really enjoyed all that much. I was not a big fan of Iron Fist season 1, and to the point that my mom and I didn't even watch it on our little rewatch that we just went through. So, what else? I feel like there have been a lot of trailers that have come out. I made big lists of movies that I want to see. I'm not going to read those off here. Let's see. I watched, I think it was a documentary about the Golden Girls. Oh no, it wasn't a documentary. It was a video essay. I watched a video essay on YouTube about the Golden Girls and why the gay community loves the Golden Girls so much, and it was really freaking cool, and it made me want to watch the Golden Girls. So I think I'm going to watch the Golden Girls now. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else, and I'm going back into the movies and television Discord channel to see if I posted about anything, because I do tend to do that when I watch things. I tend to post about them. And it is January, which means that I saw last month was when I saw Spider-Man No Way Home. Let's see. We did watch Encanto this month. And that's right. That was where my whole like looking into Golden Girls thing came from, was because Betty White passed earlier this month. God, or actually, she didn't pass earlier this month. She passed at the very end of last year, but still, very, very sad. Oh, here we go. We've watched The Mitchells versus the Machines. That was great. We watched Dune. That was fucking awesome. We did watch The Eternals. John wasn't as high on that movie as I was. I fucking loved Eternals. I really enjoyed that movie. Like, borderline top 10 Marvel movie for me of all time. I really, really loved it. Let's see, what else? I know we've watched more than just that. Here we go. We did watch we did watch the first John Wick movie. And I think this was this month. We watched a few Miyazaki movies. We watched Kiki's Delivery Service, I believe, and Howl's Moving Castle. And Ponyo. Actually, I don't think we did Kiki's Delivery Service. We did Howl's Moving Castle and Ponyo. And before you ask, we've all already seen Spirited Away multiple times. And Totoro as well, My Neighbor Totoro. So those were not even something we consider because we've all already seen them a few times. We did watch Pacific Rim Uprising. It was really disappointing. I fucking loved the first Pacific Rim. That is like one of my favorite action movies of all time. Like up there with like Edge of Tomorrow and then stuff like that. But the sequel just was not that good, unfortunately. And I was rooting for it too because I fucking love John Boyega. But man, that movie was not that good. Let's see, what else did we do? We did watch Monster Hunter actually, and that was really fun too. I enjoyed that movie. That was a fun, just like turn your brain off and sit back with some popcorn and enjoy kind of movie. Good action flick. It would have been wonderful for me to come on here and be able to say, "Oh, I saw Morbius today," because it was supposed to come out tomorrow. And normally, whenever movies come out, you can get a ticket to see them the day before. But unfortunately, that got delayed to April. Fuck. What else? Oh, my mom and I went back and rewatched the Mighty Ducks movies, the first three. I don't think there's been any more, but I do know that they just came out with a series. But yeah, those are really fun. In my opinion, those movies get better each iteration. I think the first one is a lot of fun and really good, but I also think it's the worst one of the three. Second one's a little bit better. Third one I loved. I love Mighty Ducks 3. That movie's so good to me. It's like,
Mighty Ducks 3 was a good film. I'm back, everybody. Thank you for holding down the fort, good sir.
Welcome back. And I also learned through watching those Mighty Ducks movies that the Anaheim Mighty Ducks were literally owned by Disney. Like, Disney literally used the Mighty Ducks movies to launch a literal fucking NHL team. And the team was actually relatively successful at first, but it didn't actually win a Stanley Cup until the year after Disney sold it, which is kind of hilarious. Let's see, what else? Did we watch anything Marvel this month other than Eternals, John? I don't think we did, right?
I don't think we did either, because I know we've watched like Moon Knight trailer and stuff like that, but like nothing like series-wise.
I know you haven't done this with me, but I have rewatched both Deadpool movies.
Oh, do they still hold up to you?
They're so fucking good, dude. Especially the second one. I think the second one actually holds up better than the first one, believe it or not.
Nice.
It's really good, though. Yeah. God. Very excited for Moon Knight. That can't come soon enough.
Yeah, Moon Knight's going to be amazing. That trailer looked bonkers. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I think that might cover what I've watched this month. Yeah, that covers what I've watched, at least that I can remember. Other than like a shit ton of YouTube content, because I do watch a lot of YouTube.
Yes.
I think my favorite YouTube video that I've watched this month was, let me see here, who put this up? I want to give credit where it's due. Spooky Scary Socialist on YouTube put out a video. It's almost 40 minutes long, called "Debunking Every Anti-Communist Argument Ever."
Oh, that sounds awesome. Actually, if I could just tag in, because I know I just got back. So if we're talking about YouTube content, I watched a great essay by this YouTuber, and I actually want to plug him because, BreadTube has had a bit of a too white problem for a while. I know Ashton's plugged like Professor Flowers for a while. I want to plug FD Signifier. Dude's fucking great. I watched I believe it was like an hour, 14-minute video on Dave Chappelle that he did. I know I've been wanting, and like I told Ashton, when it comes to video essayists that dive into like sensitive topics, it's weird for me because I enjoy it. I definitely enjoy it, but I can only do like maybe one of them at a time, especially when they're that long. So I've been kind of like building myself up again till I can watch the one that he did on Kanye, because he did 2 videos on Kanye, and I've been wanting to watch that. He also did a great essay on Bo Burnham's Inside Out
Oh,
and how it's white liberal existential dread. So like he likes Bo Burnham. He doesn't like drag him too hard, but I think he does give some critiques that are worth thinking about.
yeah.
So yeah, I love how he analyzes
Yep.
media. I know he what were we saying?
Well, I don't know. I think it was in Make Happy, not in the most recent one, but Bo Burnham actually did a whole thing where he talks about how like I know that this is bad for me and that I shouldn't be up here and that I'm basically just seeking attention because of my complexes, but I do it anyway, that kind of thing. So it's like he's doing it, so obviously that's kind of a problem, but he's self-aware enough to know that it's not good that he's doing it.
Right. I know also he did, and I told you about this one, Ashton, because I thought about you the whole time watching it. He did another great video, I was on the commodification of black athletes.
Yes.
And that was really great. And other black YouTubers that I've kind of checked in on, Kar, all capitals, is great. I know FD Signifier, he even plugged some channels that I went ahead and I think I subscribed to a few of them. God, my subscribe list is so much bigger than I thought it was. Again, Professor Flowers, I know Ashton has mentioned. I know I've subscribed to quite a few reaction channels. I don't know. It might take too long to find these people, and maybe I would talk about them more next month when I've had a chance to really watch their content, because I haven't even had a really chance to like dive deep. But he did talk about some really interesting people. So yeah, just expand that, guys. Especially if you believe in any leftist talking points that we talk about, there are alternative voices out there beyond the Voshes of the fucking world and other people that dominate the space.
Good lord.
So
does Vosh even
yeah.
really count as a left tuber anymore?
I personally wouldn't. He really comes off as a fucking centrist. I would even say right centrist to some of his fucking takes.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
He's
another
like
left.
he's
Yeah.
like socially right wing, economically left wing.
Yes. Another leftist YouTuber that I like, and I don't know if he's and forgive me, I really don't want to get this wrong. I think he's either Syrian, he might be Iranian, but his name's Hakeem. He actually, I don't think he and I would agree very much, because I'm like an anarcho-communist generally. I think he's like a Marxist-Leninist Maoist type thing.
Oh wow.
But I still enjoy his takes, honestly. I still think he makes quality content, so I would give him a plug. I learn a lot every time I listen to him, and honestly, we need more genuine left unity. Like, obviously, I'm not going to unify with a guy like Vosh, because I think you hit it on the head. Like, he's very right socially, and that's gross to me. Because I think that's where fascism always begins, is with the social aspects of society. Yeah. Like, oh, don't you want to reclaim masculinity? Are you really comfortable with your son wearing it? And like all that bullshit. But yeah, Hakeem, though, I think there's enough common ground. He did a great video on fucking dunking on PragerU. He's done another great video exposing capitalist lies similarly. And I know, actually, speaking of, you and I recently watched together Re-Education. That's another great anarchist YouTuber. He did that video on democratic confederalism that I thought was quite good.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, a lot of good content out there. So I just wanted to pitch in with the YouTube stuff since you were talking about it and I just got back. So feel free to resume if there's anything else you want to talk about.
Oh yeah, I was gonna go to music next, but I don't really think that I've like discovered anything new this month at all. I think my exposure to music this month has basically just been revisiting shit that I already knew I liked. Like, I've been on a real Swayze kick lately.
Right.
So I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I don't really think I'm missing anything. So we can move on to our next question. That being, a biography is made about you. What is the title?
Hell, I've made it a joke for so many years. I might as well finally get some use out of it.
The rise. Douchebags? Oh.
No, the rise and rise of John Altman. Because I always.
That's almost as funny as I fucking love douchebags.
Yes. Yeah, the rise and rise of John Altman. Why I'm better than you and suck less. So that'd be the subtitle.
That is quintessential you, I gotta say.
What about you, friend?
I've actually given this a little bit of thought, just enough to come up with Never Stop Learning, the Ashton Pond story.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
You cut out there. Can you say that again?
Oh, Never Stop Learning, the Ashton Pond story.
That is perfect. I was kind of thinking of a title for you once you make it big and you become rich. Look at the chart. Fucking my success in data analysis. But I actually like Never Stop Learning. That is more quintessentially you.
Thank you.
So,
All right. So, third question from Rotten Butter: is your refrigerator running?
You got the wrong number. And then I hang up.
You know, I gotta say, it's a real coincidence that he would ask this question this month of all times, because I have never had more trouble with the refrigerator running than I have had this fucking month. I swear to God. Dude, we had a breaker problem where they installed really sensitive breaker switches in our panel, and it was getting to the point that 4 or 5 times a day the breaker to the refrigerator would switch. It would break or flip or whatever the fuck, and it would turn the electric to the fridge would get cut off, and I would have to go in there and I would have to flip it back, and sometimes I would go in there and flip it back and it would immediately just switch again, and I had to do it 3-4 times per time it happened to get it to actually stay on. And we finally got someone to get out here and put a less sensitive breaker switch in, and we haven't had that problem since. But now we're starting to have that problem with the microwave. So I'm wondering if we're going to have to get someone to come out and put a new switch in for the microwave as well.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, man. This is like, what a weird coincidence that he would ask this question when I'm having or I had that exact issue earlier this month. That's insane. The timing.
God, I gotta tell you too, it got me thinking that if this whole wrestling thing doesn't work out for Braun Breaker, you could become an entrepreneur and sell the Braun Breaker, not as sensitive as your mom's breaker, and just I don't know.
Not as sensitive as your mom's breaker.
I feel like I'm on point today. Am I on point today?
You are on point. You are on so many points, and I love it.
All right, next question.
Kirby Freeman's 5 questions. First up, with the tease of Dirty Dogs coming to NXT, do you see them destroying Imperium for the NXT tag titles?
Not if they want to keep my viewership. I mean, I don't like Imperium, but fucking hell. Like, I honestly think that would be a downgrade, honestly. So, especially because I would have to see Dirty Dogs then, because we still actively watch NXT. So, in a quintessentially me way, no.
You know how there's that image that both sides of the political spectrum like to use about the other side, where it's someone with a boot on their face pushing them down onto the ground saying, I'm being oppressed, and then the next panel shows them with their arm, with their hand in the boot pushing down on themselves, creating their own oppression?
Yes.
That's literally what's going on with Kirby here. Your shit taste is why the people that you like don't get pushed. Damn. Super Blue does it too. Super Blue's the same way.
I love that you always give like this nice, sophisticated setup right before you're about to own face. Like, I want you to remember this thing that happened. And I'm pretty much going to do the same thing to you, or just remind you how you participate in this thing. It's amazing, honestly.
Dude, I'm sorry, but if you're genuinely a fan of the Dirty Dogs, I just don't know what to tell to you. Like, as far as I'm concerned, you are a lost cause in the world of pro wrestling fandom.
Yeah, I mean, probably. Yeah, I'm not about to make a spirited defense of fucking Kirby Freeman. No, I'm pretty sure I've never seen Kirby Freeman and Super Blue in the same chat. I mean, I probably have, but not recently. So, it's a conspiracy, over here.
So, yeah, are they going to destroy Imperium for the tag titles? Who cares? I don't care about either team. Frankly, I hope that either MSK or GYV win the Dusty Cup and win the titles from either one of them. I don't give a shit who they win them from.
Yeah, please, GYV. Please, for the love of fuck. I would love that.
All right. So, now we get to our second question from Kirby. Who do you see dethroning Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's title?
Ideally, I would love it to be Gigi just getting tired of her shit. I think I even mentioned this on one podcast. Like, I know all factions run their course, So I would love, like, when Mandy's just like, oh, nobody's hotter than me and this and that. And maybe Gigi's having a really good day. And maybe Mandy's feeling insecure about it. Like, maybe she just loved the top that she got or whatever. And she makes, like, a biting remark. And Gigi kind of frowns. And you plant the seeds. And she just gets tired of Mandy's, like, narcissism. And she takes away the one thing that would really hurt her most. And that's the NXT Women's Championship, preferably at a takeover. And we usher in the Dolan era, which I actually think would up the division up several notches, at least for me. So I'm hoping Gigi. Realistically,
Bro, the way you started that word, you said Rhea, and I was about to be like, no way she goes back to NXT. But then you continued. And I was like, oh, that's not what he was saying.
yeah. Oh, Abel, you scamp. We actually had Spirited Ollie J Discourse today. It wasn't on my bingo card for 2022, but it happened. Do we think maybe Indian singles later in the year or something? I don't know, dude, honestly.
I'm going to keep it as simple as possible and say Cora Jade.
Yeah. Yeah, and then maybe that definitively has Raquel go back to being full heel, because I think they still like the idea of her being a babyface. And it's just like, oh, you know, she's been getting frustrated with Cora. So Cora winning the NXT Women's Championship, that'd be a feud you can dovetail right into. So actually, I like that. Foster, I wish. I'd legitimately pop for that, honestly.
All right.
So yeah, that sounds good.
Next question from Kirby. Do you guys think bullying is a necessary evil in life or a necessary evil in life for one's growth in society?
Oh God, the ways I could answer this question. You know what? I do want to be sincere. We already kind of had our fun Kirby question with the first one. I mean, you went all in, so like I'm good. I'm full. You fed us both quite well. You know, to me, here's the thing. In all honesty, bullying is inevitable because you're inevitably going to run into shit people. Or even if they're not shit people, because that makes it seem like that's all they're going to be is shit people. People that are shitty. Even good people can have shitty days where they take stuff out on you. That doesn't make it right, of course, but like it happens, right? So to act like, to me, if somebody were to say we need to declare a war on bullying, it would be really very similar to like war on terror and all that other stuff. It's an invisible enemy because it's something that all human beings do, especially in the case of bullying at one time or another in their lives, even when they don't know it. And yes, Abel, I do agree bullying leads to emotional damage. So it's not that I'm saying it's a good thing. I just feel like, you know, there are ways we can reduce the problem. How we raise our children. How we structure institutions for what they tolerate. I always hated the idea in school, right? That if somebody was bullying you, say like they were even flat out assaulting you, and you defended yourself, which I would always encourage, both parties would get suspended. Because then what's the lesson there? It's like you're not really doing worse to the person that instigated the violence. You're not showing the ethical difference in the behaviors, right? You're not emphasizing that difference. So I you know, parenting, obviously. I would say internet spaces, but there's no way you could regulate that shit. Honestly, I don't think it necessarily should be regulated. I just worry about like, where do we put a cap on that?
Can I just say something here?
Of course.
The question is literally, do you think bullying is a necessary evil in life for one's growth in society? It's not asking whether we can eliminate it or not. It's asking whether it's a necessary evil or not.
That is true. So I guess I strayed too far there. So I guess to go back, I hate the idea of like a necessary evil. I'd just prefer to call it like an inevitable evil, because I think you can grow into a wonderful person without bullying, probably a better one without bullying, because I do agree with Abel that it leads to emotional damage. But I do think it's an inevitable evil. So that's how I'll answer that question.
Yeah, I'm just going to say no. I don't think that it is a necessary evil because anything that somebody's doing that might be perceived as unacceptable to society, there are better ways to correct that behavior than bullying. Period.
I complete that. See, now that's a hard agree. And I never like the rhetoric of necessary evil, because that's how you legitimize the failings of superstructures like capitalism, even. It like starts with the small stuff, right? Of like individual human interactions. And then you get all the way up to that shit. And yeah, I agree. Like if you're corrective, it's the same way with parents that like hit their kids. And it's like, oh, I was spanked and I turned out fine. You literally spent the last half hour on your podcast advocating genocide of a certain group. I'm pretty sure you didn't turn out okay, right? Maybe let's look at all of our behaviors and maybe find different social correctives for behavior that we don't find acceptable. And it's even worse when the social corrective itself is socially unacceptable. So, yeah, I think Ashton's on the money there.
Next question. What was the first movie that scared the hell out of you and scarred you for life?
the first Creepshow movie. Particularly the last installment with the guy that was not hypochondriac, like a germaphobe. And he was like in one of those hermetically sealed rooms and stuff. And these cockroaches found their way into the room, and it ultimately ends with him having a heart attack and like the cockroaches commandeering the body. It was a gross fucking visual. Dude was an asshole and he had it coming, but me as a child, I didn't process all that at the time. Like I didn't process it as a morality tale. I processed it as, oh my God, all these, but like, oh God. So yeah, that scarred me for some time. I didn't sleep a wink that night. It was really bad. So yeah. What about you?
Yeah, so there are actually
Cinematic
three movies, and I don't know what order I watched them in, but there are three movies that really fucked my shit up when I was a kid. The first one was Aliens, specifically the scene where all the eggs were opening and people were getting face huggered on them.
Nice.
The second movie was Jeepers Creepers. I was legitimately terrified of the creeper as a child. I legitimately thought like I didn't want to go out at night because I thought that I would look up and see the creeper on a roof and have to just face the fact that he's going to catch me and kill me. Um,
Right.
and then the third one, and this is one that most people probably have never even heard of. There was a movie that came out in the early 2000s called They. Literally just called
Ooh.
They. And it was literally an entire movie centered around the fact that there's basically another dimension where there are creatures who prey on humans and they can come through areas of darkness. So basically, the quote unquote, sort of the portal to their world opens in darkness, and they can come through that. And if you are in darkness, if you are in the dark, they can come through and grab you and take you to their world and kill you and eat you.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that
Yeah.
does sound intense for a child to witness.
And that movie came out in 2002, which means I probably saw it in like '03, '04. So I was 13, 14 years old at the time.
Yes.
That fucked me up bad.
Oh man, that's rough, brother. That's rough.
Yeah, let's just say I used a nightlight for way too long in my life.
Yeah, don't blame you, man. I used to after the Michael Myers like first Halloween movie, I slept with my door open for a year because the darkness was just way too much for me.
Yeah.
So
All right. So then our fifth and final question from Kirby. Last of all, he says, when is Micah dethroning Sayakamitani for that white belt?
I'm really glad you asked that because I actually did the math anticipating this question. It's half past never. That's when it's happening. So I feel like I handled that well.
Well, I
Do you have
appreciate your
anything?
answer, John, but I would like to give a little bit more of a sincere answer here. Hopefully, not before June.
But see, I only answered never because I don't even think Micah's going to end her reign.
I don't
Do you?
expect Micah to end her reign, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Micah ended her reign.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I personally don't see it. But Ash and I do talk about all the time that it does seem like Stardom sees more in Micah than what we do. And this is coming from somebody that, again, I've even said Micah has made strides with me,
Yeah.
but I still see her in a certain place, in a certain level, in the Stardom hierarchy. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't see her being the one to beat Kamitani. But they have been going back and forth in those tag matches lately, so who even freaking knows?
Yeah, I could see it being Kid. I could see it being Momo. I could see it being Mina. I think Mina is probably the best bet, actually. Or Kid, really one of the two. I think Kid makes a lot of sense, actually, just to keep fucking over QQ. She goes after the white belt. Like, I would love that.
I'd love that too. Great.
But yeah, there are a lot of options. Micah, I think, is one of the options. I just don't think she's the only or even the best option. So, regardless, whoever does end up taking that title off of Kamitani, I genuinely hope that she holds it until at least June. That's my big thing. So,
Yeah, I definitely want her to have a healthy run with it for sure.
yeah. Next questions are from Abel. And our first question from Abel, why do you guys have the same Twitter profile picture?
To promote the show, son.
Bro, it's called a brand. Where are you?
Yeah, aren't you like I mean, dude, you do Bitcoin. You should know all about capitalism. We're like on the first tier of capitalism because we don't want to ascend in a fucking awful system. But yeah, we're all about that branding, homie. It's all part of the TWitWoW iconography.
Yeah, that's all it is. Anyway, next up, what would you do if you were the Batman?
Oh God, I would use my affluenza to just really not even necessarily do what he's already doing. I'd probably make society better and try and be an actual superhero. Like
Dude,
imagine,
here's the
yeah.
thing. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like, I just looked it up. Bruce Wayne is apparently worth $80 billion.
Change the world, fam. What the fuck are you like, you know what though? No, I have to say something because you did a brilliant Twitter thread on Batman recently. And if you want to like rehash that for the purposes of this question, by all means. I just want to say that I am so glad the conservatives have claimed Batman as their hero because he really is quintessentially them, especially the billionaire class, because only a billionaire, it really is Jeff Bezos inspired. Because
It's
the dude
Elon
had
Musk, dude.
it's Elon Musk. And I only say Bezos, right? Because I remember the interview question where it's like, do you have any plans to do anything with your wealth? And all he could think was space travel. And I could picture
When
somebody
Elon
asking
Musk is
Bruce,
this dude, Elon Musk. This is the big thing, dude. I don't know if you picked up on this. I think I've talked about this before. I don't know if I was this specific. Elon Musk is literally holding a fucking competition with like $1 million prize or something. It's probably more than that. I don't fucking know. Prize for people to be able to basically sanction off carbon out of the atmosphere in a sustainable way that lasts a certain amount of time, right? And like you'd think like, oh wow, he's being so altruistic, he's trying to end climate change on his own. But like then you realize, wait a minute, he's doing this so that he can fucking terraform Mars.
yes, yes, yeah.
Like that's literally
I
like that's Elon for sure. It's I mean, don't get me wrong,
yeah,
it's Bezos too. Those two guys absolutely at the top of the list for who might as well be Batman.
yeah, because I was just gonna make the point, just to finish my point before handing it off to you. It really is just somebody asking Bruce, "What are you gonna do with all this money, Bruce?" And the best you could think is, "I'm gonna put on a costume and beat the fucking shit out of people."
Yeah.
Like quintessential billionaire logic. So yeah, if I was Batman, I would. I mean, I know this is kind of a non-answer, but I would suck less for one, because I'd actually use my wealth to do structural dismantling and then rebuilding, so that the criminals of Arkham, I wouldn't have to keep punching them in the face because they got the fucking help that they needed. And then yeah, I'd probably just enjoy my wealth, mind my fucking business, not be a fucking psychopath, healthy things, make good life choices.
I
Is there
love
anything
how
you want to
Abel
add,
just
good
said
sir?
Elon Musk could be the Iron Man, and I'm just thinking, you notice how Elon stopped trying to come off as a Tony Stark type as soon as Endgame came out, and we got to see Tony sacrifice himself to save the fucking universe?
Elon's like, yeah, that doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah, exactly. That finish doesn't quite work for me.
uh, yeah, yeah. So, anything more we want to say about Batman, about
I
fucking
just,
Bruce
yeah,
Wayne?
I mean, yeah, I mean, first of all, if I was Bruce Wayne, I wouldn't fucking be Batman because the whole Batman thing is a stupid ass gimmick. If you want to get rid of the corruption, there are far better ways to do it than dressing up like a moron and going around beating up street level criminals.
you know, just because I'm really turning up now, just from these last few questions, I have to say it too, mainly because Bruce doesn't exist. I wouldn't actually say this to a real person. But you know what, Bruce? I'm glad your parents died because we watched the Joker and they were fucking rich pieces of shit too. So I'm glad they got shot in that fucking alley. And maybe you should think about class differences rather than thinking that I could just beat the shit out of the fucking problem. You
Yeah.
noob.
Yep, pretty much. I do love though that if you look at the Dark Knight, the Joker does a better job of clearing crime out of Gotham than Batman ever did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he literally basically he strips the mob of all of their fucking resources and burns them down. Like and by the end of the movie, Gotham is more united than ever because they've basically been able to withstand the ridiculous shit that the Joker tried to put them through too. Like, oh my god. Anyway, I think it's time to move on. How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel good where we're at.
All right. What would happen first? Veer showing up on Raw or Ali getting released?
I'm gonna say Vera showing up on Raw, actually.
Same. Yeah, I think Veer shows up on Raw within the next like month or two, maybe three at most. I don't think Ali gets released this year.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think they're gonna hold that shit out and punish him for vocalizing problems publicly. you know, like any other corporation, when it's like, hey guys, they're really overworking us here or whatever, you know that they're never going to reform. They're always going to be like, oh, well, now we just have to punish you, you know, twice as hard.
Yep.
Oh.
All right, fourth question, or actually, I think fourth question from Abel. Who is the best Among Us imposter and crewmate?
Me personally, I still think Ashton's the best imposter when he gets it.
Oh, I don't agree with that at all. I think, personally, low key, and I hate to even give him this credit because I know it's just going to go straight to his head, but I think Chiefin's the best imposter because every single game that he doesn't, or that, let me rephrase that. Every single game where I'm dead, like if he kills me early, he wins.
Yeah.
Which is what leads me to my second statement, is that I'm the best crewmate. I think I'm the best crewmate. I think I'm the best detective.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I was actually going to say, if not you, I also really like when Mark's imposter. I think Mark plays intelligent.
Mark and Chiefin, to me, Mark and Chiefin are the best imposters. I haven't been that great of an imposter. Although, Ava would be a much, much better imposter if it wasn't as simple as you asking him if he did this.
Yeah, that is true. Abel, I'm glad you're not evil to me. Everyone else, it's okay. They don't matter as much as me. But to me, I'm glad that we have a sacred sphere of honesty, trust, and vulnerability. It's beautiful. I love you, son. All right. Next question.
Yeah. All right. So, who will be your Valentine for Valentine's Day?
Myself. Yeah. I got nothing going on.
That's it. Okay.
That's. I was actually about to ask if you were still there. I thought that was like no. I really got nothing going on.
Yeah.
So
no, same.
Yeah. It's
all
gonna
right.
be
Next set of questions. Yeah. Alex Foster. What wrestlers in all of the history of NXT would have been bigger in 2.0?
All the history of NXT would have been bigger in 2.0. You know, if Bo already didn't have a legendary fucking heel run, I would want to say him, because I do feel like Bo, as he was, really does still fit the scheme of this NXT that they got going on. You know who maybe would have been Leo Kruger. Leo Kruger, I think, could have done well because they do have the characters with like Tony D'Angelo and stuff like that. I think he would have.
You might be right.
Maybe done better. So I'll say Leo. Did he give a number for how many superstars he wanted us to list, or did he just ask generally which NXT?
He just said what wrestlers in all of the history of NXT would have been bigger in 2.0.
I'm gonna say Kruger. Emma's a great pick.
Yeah, because 2.0 seems to be a lot more like aesthetically focused. Like if you're hot, you get pushed, and I think Emma would have fit that aesthetic, and she would have been the best wrestler of the hot women's wrestlers, which probably means she might have even won a world title. She might have been an NXT Women's Champion, which she never was.
Foster says Percy Watson. That's actually not a bad guess. I think Percy probably could have done better.
Yeah.
In ring with NXT 2.0. Maybe you could even say the same for Saxton.
I don't think was ever an in-ring guy on NXT, though, was he? I thought he was just a commentator. I think the only time he was... Unless he did say all of the history of NXT, so I guess that could extend to, like, the game show NXT.
Yeah. Yeah, I really don't know. It's kind of difficult for me to say.
Mason Ryan.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one, actually.
He would have been a world champion too, man.
He's a better Von Wagner than Von Wagner is right now, honestly. So, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like, never mind. I'm not going to finish that thought. But yeah, next question.
Oh boy. Second question from Alex Foster. Name a character you like that nobody else does. Now, Foster, I'm just curious, since I know you're in here. Do you mean like in like fiction in general, like TV shows, cartoons, etc., or are you talking about wrestling? Is this like a wrestling question?
What was the question again?
Name a character that you like that nobody else does.
Interesting.
I'm very curious what he meant by this, because... Okay, fiction. Okay. So, like, comics, anime, shows, etc.
God, that's difficult, because I'm a pretty sick son of a bitch when it comes to fiction. Like, I like fiction to be an outlet for my worst impulses, which is why I root for evil 99% of the time. But I feel like a lot of the evil that I like, there are still other fans. What was that?
I said, what am I going to do with you?
The same thing you've always done. Tolerate and put up with it. So Yeah, let me think. That's actually a much harder question than you might think.
I have an answer based on our recent viewings.
Sure.
Dirk Gently. I fucking love Dirk Gently, and you hated him. And every review I've
Yes.
seen of the show has said that he's annoying as fuck. And I just think he's great. I think he's hilarious. So, yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's an
actually
easy
a
one for
great
me.
answer. Trying to think if there's ever anybody that I liked that other people just didn't like. Because I know, like, in Whiplash, Andrew Neiman, I know that, like, a lot of people thought he was, like, an asshole and a jerk, but I loved him all the way through. In fact, that might even be my answer, because I know even with the breakup scene with the girl played by Melissa, I think Benoit is her last name, who was Supergirl later for the CW. Benoist. Yeah, I knew there was something missing there. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's an asshole. And I'm like, yeah, King, you do you. Like, I would have done the exact same. So I'm like, yeah, Andrew Neiman for me. Because I think a lot of people conventionally are like, you could have dumped her in a better way. And I'm like, no, I would do the exact same thing. So that is one case where I'm not going to go like radical evil, because I was going to be like, I don't know, Hive or something from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because that came the memorable line from you that I love, that you're so pro-minority. But no, I want to be a bit more grounded. I'll say Andrew Neiman, because I see a lot of myself in him, just as far as our commitment to what we're really passionate about and the things we're willing to sacrifice and all that stuff. And I think just a lot of people were turned off thinking that he was like arrogant or too myopic or whatever. And I'm like, nah, king shit. So yeah,
Bro,
Andrew for me.
how much of a coincidence? I was just talking about Emma in our last question, and on Impact right now, she's making her entrance to Neil.
Amazing.
Yeah, worked out.
Amazing.
So yeah, I'll go with Dirk Gently. You get to go with Neiman from Whiplash, and we can move on to our next question. Third question. This is just for you, John. Which wrestlers would you cast as characters in The Good Place?
Ooh, okay. So I
I feel
would
like I have a
do
really good answer to this question, but it's just for you.
Xavier in the place of Cheaty, because he does have a PhD in like education and stuff like that, and he is like very much an intellectual, I think. Now, granted, he doesn't have like the anxiety cheat or whatever, but like it's acting, right? So we could just have him adapt to that. It doesn't have to be exact in my mind. Fuck.
I didn't know
Read the
we were
question to
doing
me
like
again.
specific characters.
Beg pardon?
I didn't know we were doing like replacing specific characters with a wrestler.
Oh
I
well,
thought we were
that's
just
kind of how
adding wrestlers to that universe.
Foster did say we're allowed to answer each other's questions, so if you wanted to chime in,
I was just gonna say Corbin would be perfect in The Good Place, just because this whole idea that like he's this like delusional heel who thinks he's a good guy kind of thing.
he would be perfect for that. Yeah, would be perfect for that.
The question specifically though is what wrestlers would you cast as the characters in The Good Place? So you're actually, I think you handled that question better than I would have, because I think that's more right of a way to handle it than I would have. So like, who would you cast as the characters?
Um, it's kind of a weird spin, but I mean, Foster, you're usually pretty open minded to my mind and how it works, and I love you for that, unironically. So I would honestly do Cueto in the place of Michael, because I think he actually could be affable and friendly and like charming, but like obviously he's the architect of this whole thing, so I think he'd be perfect. I think he was great at being sleazy like in Lucha Underground, but I've seen him in some other stuff. I know he was on a Will and Grace episode once, like years ago, and I think he could be like that affable, likable guy if he needed to be. Um, See, the problem with The Good Place is that they're bad people training to become good, or they're people with like hangups that make them bad or not live life to the fullest. So I've got Xavier for Cheaty, because again, just he would have to adjust some things. Cueto for Michael. Eleanor. You know what? Fuck it. The child in me would probably just do Trish Stratus for Eleanor. I don't know if you wanted current WWE superstars. If you do, I can adjust that. But if we're just talking like all time, I would probably do that, or just I think you said wrestlers, so you were okay with Cueto, because he did say, "Ooh, I like that." So I do Trish for Eleanor. Ah, fuck. Let's see, Tahani. I want to see something about Tahani, because you know what? I want to. If you notice, I'm also like, I'm okay with replacing white characters, like non-white characters. I actually want to like respect the original ethnicity and like not exclude them. So I want to know that, because I don't think Tahani is a black woman. I want to know what her background is.
She's Middle
Tahani
Eastern, right?
Al-Jamil. Middle Eastern.
I think. I don't know. You should probably still look it up, honestly.
Well, it's an English actress, they say. So she might have been born in London, but I don't know her background. Oh, so her father was Pakistani.
Oh, I was
I
right.
guess her mother was like Pakistani British. So we don't have any Pakistani women in WWE, do we? Because I
I
would
mean,
want to.
unless you want to go with Ginny, I don't know if she's Pakistani.
Is Ginny? Ginny.
Yeah, I'm not
Honestly,
seeing
Ginny
anything.
would be the closest thing I could do. I'm not seeing anything about Pakistan. I'm only seeing like England and stuff like that. I don't know anything about her parents. I'm not seeing anything about her parents. You know what? Forgive me, but I'll just go with no, Foster. It's fine. I actually like this challenge. This is one that doesn't bother me. It's the fantasy booking questions and stuff like that that are like really in depth. I'm probably making it harder than it needs to be, admittedly. So I'll just do Ginny for Tani. I just love The Good Place. It's such a good fucking show, and I want to do justice to it. Jianyu, he's like a monk that's actually like stupid. You know what? I would probably do. I actually have the perfect answer for this. I just want to get his name right. So I would do. Oh, fuck, really? Ikemanjiro. I would do it for Gianni. I think he'd be perfect. And I know there are other. Oh, Janet. Who would I do for Janet? Janet. God, you know, if Stephanie wasn't so awful and it was still like babyface Stephanie from 02, that like in my mind, I would honestly go with her for a Janet, but I know we can do better.
Bailey?
Perfect. Bailey. Yes, perfect. And I think with that, I'm going to end it because I'm probably missing some roles. But you know what, Foster? You probably didn't even want me to go this deep in the first place. I hope that was sufficient for you. And again, I love the show. That's why I made it harder on myself than I needed to be, because I'm not just going to like throw names out there for no reason. I really did want to give thought to one of these, especially because I know for most of these questions, I usually piggyback off Ashton. So I'm glad you gave this to me. It allowed me to put in some effort, and I hope it was worthwhile for you, because I really did try here. So I'm going to, forfeit there.
Well, guess
And
what,
Kevin
brother?
Owens
The
for
next
Sean.
question is very similar because he asked me, it's a question for me, what wrestlers would you cast as characters in the league?
Ooh, that's a show I haven't thought about in a long time. All right, brother, all you.
I think the three easiest guys to cast are Kevin, Ruxin, and Andre, right? Andre, I think, needs to be Sami Zayn because Sami Zayn is just far and away the best performer in the WWE as far as being willing to make a fool out of himself, and that's Andre to the T, right?
Right.
I think Kevin's Kevin Owens. I know they share a name, and that makes it sound like that's the only reason I picked it, but like he's like the everyman that can't pick up a win to save his life, right? That's Kevin Owens right now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's Kevin
You're
Owens for
right,
most
though.
of his WWE career, sadly.
Yeah.
And I think as his wife Jenny, I would say Liv Morgan
Nice. I like that, actually.
because she's got very like girl next door qualities, you know.
Yes, for sure.
Then we get to Ruxin. Ruxin is another Sami Zayn candidate, actually, but I think we're gonna keep Sami as Andre. I just don't know who else I would cast as. We could do Corbin as Andre because he seems pretty willing to make fun of himself and be allowed to be made a fool as well. I think I'm gonna do that actually. I'm gonna have Corbin be Andre because he's got the bald head and everything to go with it, and then we'll have Sami Zayn be Ruxin.
I like that.
I could definitely imagine Sami Zayn delivering the line "Forever Unclean" in that way and be perfect.
Very cool. I just out of pure curiosity, because I do love how your mind works with this stuff, I need to know who your Rafi would be.
I don't know, dude. I was thinking about that for such a long time and I can't decide. God. The thing is, part of me almost wants it to be Riddle.
Yeah.
Just because it's like who is like the most ridiculous, willing to say stupid out there, gross out lines. And I just can't imagine anyone else in WWE other than Riddle going that far.
Right.
So I don't want to race bend the character, but Riddle feels like he fits that character the best.
All right, interesting.
Pete. Oh, God, who's kind of fucking boring in WWE? Because
Oh
what? Who were you thinking?
no, I'm just thinking like I think a lot of people, honestly, right
Yeah,
now for me at least. Yeah,
we can stick with the name and go with Pete Dunne.
there you go. Damn.
No, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna go. Pete is like he's always down on his luck. He's always down bad. He can't keep a woman around to save his life. He's fucking pissed off at Kevin and Jenny for having kids. Or no, that's Ruxin actually. I think Pete's there too, though. I think he's not happy with that either. Oh yeah, that's right, because Pete's fiance at the beginning of the show basically breaks up with him because she doesn't feel like he's committed enough because he doesn't want to have kids. And Kevin and Jenny keep having kids, and he's like, "Fuck, you really screw me over here," and she leaves him, and that's why he becomes so down bad throughout the show.
Yeah.
Um, shit. Oh God, I'm stupid. Rafi can't be Riddle because Riddle is fucking Taco.
Yes, there you go.
Riddle has to be
That I think is
Taco.
strong casting.
That's the best casting possible. Riddle is absolutely Taco. But then who's Rafi?
I know Abel suggested R-Truth, and Foster seemed to love that idea.
I don't like R-Truth as Rafi. Their humor is so completely different. I feel like Truth's humor is much more highbrow, whereas Rafi's is completely lowbrow.
Remember, you don't have to look just at WWE. Remember, I used Cueto for fucking Michael, in
That
my thing. So
is true. I don't know though, dude. I don't know. Shit. God. I maybe Max Caster is Rafi, but I don't feel like he's like the type of dude that's okay with like making a fool out of himself, which immediately is like, okay, then you're not right for the job, you know?
right.
Like I feel like Max Caster wants to be like a guy that comes off as being the cool guy all the time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Rafi is far and away the hardest one to cast, just because Jason Mantzoukas is such a one of a kind actor. You know?
Yeah, he really is.
And I still haven't figured out who I want to be my Pete either.
Hmm.
Um, God, who's the most like regular guy in WWE? That's just like, oh, God, like, it's such a hard comparison to make. I really don't know.
You think Brian could be your Pete, oddly enough? Because he
No,
has
no,
kind
no,
of that
no, no.
everyman
Brian's
quality.
way too exceptional. Pete is way too averaged for Brian to play him.
Yeah.
No, we're talking every man, like not super tall like Orton, but not super short either. Not fat, not skinny, just kind of reasonable body, reasonable height. Everything's just average. Pete is just the average guy. I need someone that's like, you know what? I just realized who it is. It's Roderick Strong.
Perfect.
Roderick Strong is my Pete. That's perfect.
Poor Roddy, man. But yeah, it works.
Well, Pete had some really good monologues throughout the seasons, and Roderick, he's really good at wrestling. So they're both good, but not not like S tier at anything. They're both really, really good at one thing. So, who do I have left to cast? I mean, I guess I still do technically have Rafi to cast. And Sophia Ruxin's wife. We decided on Ruxin being Sami Zayn. So who would his wife be? We decided on okay. So we've got Kevin Owens and Liv Morgan as Kevin and Jenny, the main sort of protagonist couple. Then we've got Ruxin being Sami Zayn. Andre is Baron Corbin. Pete is Roderick Strong. I love that casting. And Taco is Riddle. So the only two people we really have left to cast are Sophia and Rafi. Sophia being Ruxin's wife, which I don't really know if you even care if I cast her or not. But then Rafi is the fucking tough one, man. I don't know if I can really think of a Rafi.
Yeah, Rafi is tough because it's such a fucking amazing role.
Yeah, because God, thing is, WWE's been PG for over a decade now, so I can't even imagine anyone on that roster saying anything close to "sometimes when I shit, I come."
Yeah.
um, um, I'm open to suggestions on this one, man.
I mean, one guy I keep coming back to is Marty, but he's a whole different kind of crazy. That being Marty the Moth.
Yeah, no, he'd be way too over the top. I mean, the thing that makes Rafi special is that like what he's saying is over the top, but the delivery is super matter of fact and chill.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, Abel
Yeah, man,
wants me
I
to
really
cast a
don't know.
Shiva. I mean, if you're using Ginny, I get to use Ginny. I'll use Ginny as my Shiva.
That's perfect, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Foster, we can train Jason Mantzoukas to be a wrestler. That's not a bad idea either.
At this point, I almost want to like tweak the character so that it's less exactly Jason Mantzoukas and just kind of similar along the lines of like a guy who still says ridiculous things casually and just have it be Willie Mack.
Ooh, I love that idea.
Because like
Ooh,
we
I
go
really
from
like that
sometimes
idea.
when I shit, I come to oh sorry guys, sometimes when I shit, I come. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's the same casual, but it's very different types of casual.
I heard that somewhat in his voice, and I'm like, it's an adjustment period, but one I'm willing to take.
Yeah. So we'll go with Willie Mack as Rafi.
Okay, and now,
Final question of the Q&A. You ready?
yes,
What board game turns you into a terrible person?
Monopoly.
Is there any other answer, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I take that back. I do have another answer other than Monopoly.
Okay.
Connect 4.
You're right. Having played with you multiple times, you're a horrible person. When we play that game, yeah, yeah,
I
I'll
really
go with that.
do. I become such a ruthless piece of shit when we play Connect 4.
Dude, honestly though, and I mean this sincerely, this isn't even a scumbag thing. I do respect it and I understand it because you know me. I think you would say that even though I shop at Amazon and something like that, like we all fucking do, you would probably agree that I'm a pretty committed leftist, right?
Yeah,
But
of
like,
course.
I unusually enjoy impoverishing people in Monopoly. Like when I know I've made them not just poor, but fucking destitute. I get a little chub. I'm not gonna lie. So like, I understand. I 100% understand. Board games are evil, man. I'm telling you, they fuck with you.
Dude, the thing is, Monopoly. Here's the really fucked up thing. Monopoly was originally created as a way to show how fucked up capitalism is, and how if you are in capitalism long enough, eventually all of the money will go to one person. Like that's literally the point of the fucking game. And yet we all become those pieces of shit capitalists when we play, and we never really internalize how awful it is.
Yeah. Oh man,
Oh my
what the
god.
fuck, dude? Why do we take the wrong lessons as a country every fucking time? Like, hey guys, I made this board game to show why this economic model is inherently untenable and will ruin human life. The top hat go burr. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
So what piece do you play as when you play Monopoly?
I don't know, the boot, because I'm licking it apparently when I make other people poor.
I was gonna make that same fucking joke, dude. We are so on the same page. Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. Alex Foster on chat. Me playing Monopoly. Sorry, try having money next time.
Dude, yeah, Foster, yes, and see, it makes me feel less bad because Foster's worth $1 billion of me at least, as far as character and being a human being, and even he's corrupted. It's not just me;
Dude.
it's by design. God damn it! Actually, Abel, would you believe? I think somebody actually developed one, and I'm not even kidding. I think somebody developed like a socialist equivalent to Monopoly, where the idea is to like
just goes on
rebuild your
forever.
community and Beg pardon?
I said it just goes on forever.
Yeah, because you're just bettering your community
Yeah,
and you're like redistributing wealth.
yeah. There's just no end game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god. Just imagine playing Monopoly with Foster and he's just like, sorry, try having money next time. And then John steps in and he's like, no, Foster. You shouldn't be sorry. Ashton should have stopped being poor.
I really had no idea where you were going with it, and yet that finish, that was a better finish than I think WWE had all year last year. Holy fucking shit. But no, see, the funny thing is, Foster has that confidence, and I'm like, no, Foster, you think you're winning, but Ashton's just playing the long game. You'll see it. And then a few moves later, it's like, wait, how did we get here? And I'm just like, oh no, man, should have kept your eye on the ball. Because like the way you play the game, man, it kind of fucks. I think you're one of those people, aren't you? That like you'll stay in jail rather than pay the fee, and you'll just roll the dice each time. And I'm just like,
Only near the
fuck,
end game.
like,
In the early game, I always pay to get out.
yeah.
In the early
God.
game, it's always more beneficial to pay to get out because basically, as long as there are still properties that you can buy, it's always better to give yourself a chance to buy those properties. But if the whole board is already bought up, it is never going to not be more beneficial to stay in jail for as long as possible while other people are losing money so that you can just collect.
Yeah.
Foster, Foster's like, I don't think we need to play Monopoly together. We might lose some friendships.
No. It'll be. You know what? Honestly, you're right. We shouldn't do it. I was gonna say it'll be fine, but I'm not lying to myself. No, I get ugly with some board games, man. I especially get ugly. Not even with board games. With Uno, when I know I have a draw 4, I am the meme. Where it's like I'm ready to just ruin that fucking child's life with like a whole handful of draw 4s or whatever. Yeah, games are ruthless, man. I don't know. God, that was a fucking journey. I'm doing some soul searching now.
Well, that is the end of our Q&A.
Yes. Wow, what a fucking breeze. Just shy of 9. A good healthy time. Guys, next Q&A for February, my birthday month, is gonna be Thursday the 24th. So less than a month for the next Q&A.
It's only 4 weeks away. Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, get your questions in. Non-Patreon donors, you only get 3 questions per Q&A. If you donate $1, you get 5 Q&A questions. Obviously, I'm going to update my pinned tweet when we go off the air here. And if you're a member of the Discord, which is only $3 a month, we have a Q&A channel for you to submit questions. So please get your questions in, guys. As for this Q&A, thank you so much. I love you guys. I really do. You guys put a biggest smile on my face, especially you, Abel, and you, Foster. I fucking adore you two so much. So I hope we made this fun for you. I really do. Because I never want to half-ass really any question, but especially questions given with love and care and wanting to make it fun and provoke laughter. Because God knows we need more of that in this fucking shithole. So I appreciate you guys. Please leave a like as you file out, subscribe, with the bell icon, check out everything we're involved in the description box. You know the deal. And yeah, most immediately, we will see you tomorrow at 10:30 for Royal Rumble preview and predictions. Before that, though, for Discord members, we will see you at 8 for game night. So be there, but for non-Discord members or just people that don't want to do games, I don't know why, especially after that rousing discourse about how wonderful games can be that build friendships, you can join us at 10:30 for Rumble Predictions, and then we're going to be live reacting to it on Saturday at 8. So I think you usually do the outro, Ashton, for Q&A, so I pretty much did everything. I apologize. I guess I just kind of went on autopilot there, but yeah, that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much.
Man, you're good. It's fine.
And yeah, I might as well finish it then. I mean, yeah, just tune in and peace out, I guess. If you have anything you want to add, feel free.
Did you ask them to follow us on Twitter and Twitch?
Oh, well, no, I did not. So see, at John_TWitWoW is me. Again, my pinned tweet is to collect Q&A questions. Ashton's at Ashton_TWitWoW. His pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule. And yes, we do have a Twitch that we use really for gaming, because we did It Takes Two. I don't know when we'll do another game again, but you know, that's always in the back of my mind. And we do sometimes use it in emergencies when YouTube just isn't working the way that
YouTube
it should.
decides to fuck us over.
Yes. So follow us on Twitch as well. And yeah, like I said, you know when to catch us again. So that's it for me. I'm going to hand it over to Ashton to finish this off.
All right. Well, I don't really know what else there is for me to say. You know, like the video, subscribe, click the bell, follow us. Buy our merch on Spring. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow night for our preview and predictions for the Royal Rumble. It's always a lot of fun every year, and we look forward to it, and we hope that you do as well. And of course, we hope that you're all able to remember to stay tuned.